Remind us that all that we do and all that we accomplish is for the pursuit of truth, for your greater glory of you, and for the service of all of the community. We ask these all things in your mighty name. Amen.
Great, thank you. All right, everyone should have received a copy of the minutes from the April 25th meeting.
I saw no changes.
So no changes, okay, to entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold, I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Okay, morning, Chris. How are you?
All right. I don't have much today. Still working on the bridge. I gave a bridge update last time, so they're tearing it down. And I would tell you, I give Jen in the auditor's office a copy of the agreement, the NDOT, for the final signings of the relinquishment. So they've got a copy of signed by all the NDOT people and you guys. So they emailed it, or not emailed it, they delivered it and I passed it on. The billing's mine. I told you guys last time I'd sent out an email to Michael Costello. It's working with the surety company. He said he'd be in here about 2 weeks. I don't know if I'll get him to the meeting, but he'd be here in 2 weeks and give us an update. He's actually trying to combine our Billings mine with the Shamrock mine in DuBois County to get all that work done at the same time while they've got the equipment down in the area, finishing the Shamrock mine he believes he can get our road back in on 700 East.
Okay.
Be south of Old 50. So, but he'll be here in 2 weeks and I'll give you guys an update.
So regarding 700 East, I mean, is there a potential design? Because I know that was a dead end to begin with. So do we know how we want that end of the road, the south end, put back in?
Well, the dead end part was still there.
Okay.
So it was just kind of cut in the middle.
In the middle of it.
Yeah, so we didn't really get into any redesign of.
So just reconnect that.
Reconnect them,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And he said he believes he can do that, but
Okay.
we'll know here in a couple weeks, I guess.
Okay, good.
That's really all I've got.
Good. No, and then we did get together, when did we get together? Tuesday with REO, and had a good discussion with REO just to make sure on the 200 North road, that closure that's going to be happening probably in July timeframe. Just make sure we're all on the same page as far as getting it closed and getting it reopened, and had a good productive meeting with REO on Tuesday, so that was good.
Specifically, they provided further assurances that they were going to do what they said that they would do in their petition and within the decree. 30 months from December of 2022, is that correct?
They would have the road back to gravel in that 30 months, yeah.
Yep, so, sounds good, and then, I know we're working with the town of Montgomery regarding the bridge, just to see when the payment's going to restart, and we'll get a little bit more structure in that agreement as far as payment terms, and just to see what the time frame that they need to pay their part back, just so, the future commissioners, because those will probably be a, several year payback, so future commissioners will know what to expect, so.
We started getting our checks in from the EDC in the city of Washington on that 4-H joint project.
On the parking lot?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And that project's completely finished from what I saw.
As far as we're concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, what they wanted us to do.
Yeah.
They may call us back when they do the building. When we paved the upper parking lot, we didn't pave right up to the building that they're talking about taking down. There's no sense of paving over that if they're just going to tear that building out.
Mm-hmm.
So when they put that building in, they may request us to come back and pave a little closer to the building and finish that up.
It'll be minimal.
Yeah, we'll take a
Yeah.
look at it. I mean, obviously, we wanted to be good stewards, you know, a couple of years ago. Project, you know, went probably a little longer than we anticipated, so,
Yeah.
you know, there's no guarantees what we will do, but the commissioners will definitely take a look at it, and if we can help them, we will, and if we can't, then.
We got the community corrections parking lot done for Joe and them. So we got on that, and we're actually putting some rock down on the 250 south between 125 east and Highway 57. We've got that section done on rock, and then we're doing 250 south between Highway 57 and 325 east, and 325 east from 250 to 225. But we got a little section on 225 south between 325 east and 400 east that we got a couple landowners that aren't wanting to sign the agreement, so there's a right of way, so we may have to cut off of that project. We won't be able to make it completely through.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we want to get the project done, but if we don't have the right-of-ways for future maintenance, we're just handicapping the next
Right.
leaders, so we got to stick to our guns on that, so.
Okay.
All right, sounds great. Anything else, Ron?
No.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good day. Okay, next up, we got the County Health Department. Looks like we got the A-team here, and Dr. Hosoppel. How are you, Doc?
Good.
We got the isolation protocol to discuss today.
We can finish up in the bridge. It's a mess.
No, yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's actually going very well. I'll give Chris kudos and
Yeah,
group there.
your patience and everything, access,
And
and
yes, been able to get around very well. So kudos to all of you. Thank you.
but thanks for your cooperation on that. I know you were really the only one we were adversely affecting there, so.
Sure.
Good.
Continue on. The reason we gave you this, the judge wrote up this part, we met with the judge, sheriff's department, city police, mayor, child services. And the reason we met with them is we're having an increase in tuberculosis, whether it be latent tuberculosis or active tuberculosis in the county. HIV is on the rise, syphilis, gonorrhea, all those fun things that you hear about in school and think it'll never happen to us. We're seeing a large rise on that. And as we look at TB and some of those kind of things, if we have active TB, there has to be some isolation. And so I wasn't exactly sure what all our legal ramifications were all about. So we met with the judge, and Judge Smith wrote up what you have before you there as kind of protocol for us. And so I guess this is more just for informational. This is where we're at with the legislation last year from the state level. We will keep you commissioners in the loop of what we need to do. This is looking more at individual stuff rather than mass stuff, but it also does address some of the mass stuff, whether it be schools, whether it be those kind of things. But again, we will come back to you folks if we need to do something on that. And my assumption is, Nathan, you're kind of our contact person with that, or Ron, and you know, Mike's not here today, but do all of you want to be in on that? How would you like us to proceed with those kind of things?
Yeah, I guess my suggestion is use the president as the point of contact, and then I'm usually pretty good at emailing everything to the commissioners and the auditor on anything that would be relative to the board of commissioners. So,
Sure.
but if you want to CC us all on the emails, there's no issue with that either. But you know, if you get it to me, I'll make sure the other commissioners get it. But there's no harm in including them on the emails as well. So.
Good.
Yeah, and for reporting purposes, you said a large increase. Do you have actual numbers? Because I don't want, if it ends up in the newspaper, large increase, that's going to be,
Sure.
half the county.
Kathy, I'll let you address that.
So the TB in Indiana overall has increased quite a bit. Southern Indiana more so. So our TB numbers, so with HIV, we have seen an increase in HIV. We had seen several, we had 2 that just recently disappeared. So we're about double what we usually see as a whole year. So we're trying to figure out where the source is. We started offering free HIV testing a rapid testing that's free to the whole community, and we're working on getting that started. But when people have HIV, they're often, their immune system is weakened, so then they get other infections, which makes it easier for them to get TB, syphilis, other diseases.
It's like, I'm concerned about the terminology. I mean, it's a big increase, and it's double what we were. What are the actual numbers?
Yeah, so the HIV is double, we're already double in HIV.
Okay, but what's the numbers? Because I don't want it to show up in the newspaper that, and,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I see what you're saying. I'm used to the numbers, so sorry.
Yeah.
So we have seven cases, 2 left, our community, so we have 5. Normally we see 2 a year, so,
That's a lot better than half the county.
yeah, yeah. No, half the county, sorry. I'm used to the numbers, but the HIV, but we're seeing a concerning trend that we want to stop before it continues. So this will lay it out, and so we'll go through grant when we have someone that fails to follow isolation.
There's a petition that needs to be prepared for an order of isolation or quarantine. So that's been submitted together with the other materials. I talked to Judge Smith a little bit about it. It does say in here that the Board of Commissioners have met and/or conferred and/or approved this. So if they're comfortable with this, the way that it sits, my request is just that they go ahead and formally approve it. And he's gonna get, there were some minor changes that we discussed. He was gonna get the Word document and/or make those changes. And so this will be an evolving product, I guess, just to deal with this issue that we've got.
And so far, we've not had to use any of that at this point. We've had compliance, but we don't know when that might change. We want to kind of be proactive rather than reactive to it.
Yep.
Well, I remember about 2 years ago, I said that the pandemic will be over whenever we start talking about other diseases. So I guess the good news is.
Here we are.
Talking about other diseases, so. No, obviously appreciate your guys' help on this. I mean, my mindset is obviously this sounds like this is the path to go, and once it gets implemented, we can tweak it as if we see that there's unnecessary adverse effects that we did not intend to cause, we can tweak it. But obviously we gotta protect the greater good of the county, so appreciate all your guys' work on this.
Thank you. Other questions, let us know.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And while we have this, I mean, we'll go ahead and, I guess, enter it into record. I mean, it's already been kind of quasi-approved, so is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Thank you. Okay, next up, we've got the contract for the annual adjustments and cyclical reassessment from the assessor's office. I believe this is the contract we've already approved. These are just the signature pages, I believe. Is there any
The way I understand it, no, we've already
Okay.
flushed it out.
If there's no further questions or discussions, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 2-0. Next up, we received an inquiry to purchase 5 Northeast 15th Street. I believe this is about the overhead bridge. Is that the
Right.
parcel?
That's right next to the overhead bridge. He had called and is interested in purchasing the property.
Okay. So,
In the past, we'd offered this up to the neighbors. There's a statute in play just in the event that neighbors are interested in property, excess property, so to speak. There weren't interested parties. Sounds like Mr. Roush lives close to it and is interested. I guess the process would be, if there is interested in moving this, council would also express their interest. 2 appraisals, can't sell for less than the midpoint of those 2 appraisals. So if he wanted to make a formal bid, that could make some sense.
Who's in charge of the upkeep of the property now? Do we know, or is it just one of the neighbors doing it?
I'm not sure who does it. I know that that was a question that we had in the past and why we wanted to move it to one of the actual neighbors, but I'm not sure how it works. I'm assuming one of the neighbors does it, but
If there's no reason for us to have the property, I say we move forward with the 2 appraisals. Get rid of it.
If that's the way it has to be done, but they're gonna spend more on appraisals than probably what the property's worth. But we'll see.
maybe have him put forth a number that he wants to spend or a range or something like that, and appraisals fall within that, then sure. Typically, if there's a de minimis value, I think there's another lane too that can be
Okay.
followed.
Well, I'm interested in getting rid of it.
Yeah, me too. It's just the process. that
So
we'll
let's
go
get
through.
rid of it as efficiently as we can and follow just the statute. So if you can review the statutory process and just guide us through that, we'd definitely like to get it in someone else's hands, so.
Does Mr. Roush say what he wants to pay or what he would pay, or?
He really didn't say. He wants to build a small home on it for
Okay.
one of his relatives, I think. Has some issues.
I mean, a city lot's gonna be worth $10,000, so I think the de minimis number is somewhere in that range.
Yeah, if it's got a sewer connection alone, I mean, that'd be 9,000, so, but anyway, statutory process is clearly defined, I would imagine, so let's move forward
Check into it.
with it, and if we can do it without getting appraisals, if it's clearly defined, then we want to do it as efficiently as we can, so.
Okay.
Sounds good. And then I did have someone reach out on a parcel of land on Van Tree Street, but he has not sent me the exact information yet. I didn't know where he was referring to, but he said Van Tree Street. It could even be in the city. He's supposed to email me the address, but I've not gotten it yet, so just more of a FYI in case he does send that to me, so. Okay, so we're good on this?
Yes, just proceed with evaluating the process, and we'll go from there.
Okay, great. Okay, next up, we've got the Oak Creek Community Development Block Grant. Carrie, how are you? Hey, good. Come on up, please. And just mention your name and who you're with for the record would be great.
My name is Carrie Shaw. I'm with Daviess Community Hospital, and I'm their grant writer, along with other things there at the hospital. So this Oak Creek Community Grant is under their facilities planning portion. We would use these funds to build a new EMS station. So I'm sure you're aware of that we're doing a renovation at the hospital, and currently our EMS is stationed up on the 3rd floor. We are having to relocate our med-surg patients up to that 3rd floor, so we're going to be losing that housing space for EMS. So we're looking at building on property that the hospital currently owns. I believe it's on the corner of Burkhart or Bedford, and I can't remember the other street there. So, yeah, we already own that property. We've already met with the Southern Indiana Development Commission, and they would be the grant administrators. So what they advised us is that the county has to file the grant with us being sub-awardees. So the grant is up to $500,000. Now that doesn't guarantee that we're getting that $500,000. They'll open it up for a bid. Contractors will bid on that project, and whoever comes in, most efficient would be the winner of the contract. So we're asking for the county to consider.
Sure. So on the contract, when the bids come in, do you have to go with the lowest bid, or can you sacrifice quality or dollars for quality, so to speak?
It has to be, so we have to hire a state certified engineer that oversees the project.
Right.
So it has to be done at, state
Yeah, sure.
locations.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying from past experience, if we've got one bidder, it's 100,000 less than the other bidder.
They're held to that bid. So if they do, they would go with the lowest, but they're held to that bid. So if they come back and say, oh, well, this is an increase now,
I guess my question is this, if you had two bidders and one of them clearly has a better reputation than the others, can you go with that one, regardless of what their price is?
it's up to them, the development committee, the development commission.
SIDC
It's-
has a scoring process
Okay.
on those, they
Yeah.
get it in. and
You know
then
what I mean,
score.
you know
Yeah,
what I'm trying
yeah.
to say.
No, I don't think you're locked into the lowest bid, I think there's other
Okay,
considerations.
yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
So we'll handle all the paperwork. I'm actually currently going through the training process to become an auditor for these type of grants, so I just can't handle this one.
Yeah.
But we'll handle all the paperwork. It would just be submitted in the county's name and us as a sub-awardee.
I think it's great. Yeah, I think having a standalone station, getting the paramedics a permanent spot is a great idea. So anything, yeah, we can do to support that, yeah, be all for that.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'd entertain a motion to approve moving forward with the community development grant for the EMS station.
So moved.
The motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Thanks,
you.
Gary. Thanks, Tim. All right, next up, Visitors Bureau Commission updates. So just a couple of updates there. So we are close to getting the contract in place for the Visitors Commission and the Executive Director of the Chamber. Darren Holder and I have received the Visitors Commission's scope of work that they wanted to develop. It was practical and logical. There's a few changes we wanted to make to it. One being that just follow the same invoicing cycle as the county, since everything runs through the auditor, and no weekly mandates or anything. That was one. An annual update back to the commission at the end of the fiscal year. Currently, we had May 31st because it was more as a budgetary thing. But there's another stipulation in there that the budget has to be submitted by June 15th. So change it to the end of the year. And, there was a third thing. I'll send them to you.
Yeah, I've seen the agreement, I saw the draft, and I have no issue with it. Talks about reporting, that they would report on periodic basis. I guess anytime we would want them to come and report, we just request it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, they're mandated to do it annually, but we can request, and I would say till things get smoothed over,
Yeah.
that maybe quarterly we have them come in.
Yeah, I agree. And we made it clear to them too that the Visitors Commission created some sort of foundation component to the commission. Good, the thought was good, but just the involvement and the communication back to their governing bodies was not very good. So we asked them to kind of cease any operations on that foundation component, and we're not having any, cloakroom or subsidiary groups off of this group. It's one group, and we're all going to be in this together.
When I was the executive director of the Visitors Bureau, it was a much simpler operation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why it still can't be. I know the dynamics are different because they're dealing with more money, and their program of work is certainly more than what it used to be, but it doesn't need to be as complicated as what it's been. So I appreciate the work you've done in your committee on simplifying things a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting very close. By the next commissioners meeting, we will be moving full steam ahead. So then the council will be reviewing some of the ordinance as well. So
Yeah, when it ultimately comes down, both bodies will approve the ordinance because there's elements that reflect both. I would just point out that it does talk about, and maybe it should reflect in the scope of work just that the Chamber of Commerce will follow and abide by whatever ordinances are passed. I mean, obviously, because it says in here a regular report, not less than annually and not later than May 31st of each year. So if that needs to be changed, obviously it can be, but maybe part of their scope of work is you have to follow the county ordinances relative to.
yeah, that's good. So yeah, we're moving in the right direction there. So all right. Next up, courthouse renovation updates. So the RQAW, I think they're in their second round of meetings with all the department heads. I think they're actually being conducted today. They started at 9 o'clock this morning, and then I think Judge Smith's at noon, if I saw on the way in correctly. So just going over the designs, the carpet swabs and all that different types of stuff, just to get their input. So that May 23rd is when that phase wraps up. And then the construction documents will be created and then put out to bid June, July. Bid should be coming back July, August. So that will be the key decision-making time. And then the council's looking at different ways on funding it based off the potential dollar amounts. I think everything's going okay on that.
I've not heard anything.
Haven't heard any of the, I'd sent several emails and text messages to all the department heads, so everyone's been as involved as they want to be. So I was trying to make it where there's no hindsight, why wasn't I involved? And so you can be involved or as uninvolved as you want to right now, but there's no look backs, if that makes sense,
Oh, there's always an issue like this, too many cooks stirring the pot.
Like cooks,
I think a nice balance has been reached, but it's time to go.
I think so, yeah. And then August, September, we'll be looking at secondary space and where people are going to go. That'll be the end of the second quarter, beginning of the third quarter of where we're going to start putting people. So.
Has RAQW or Garmon given us any idea on how much space we're going to need?
No space yet.
Okay.
No space yet. I do know as far as the I call them belly buttons in the private sector, but some departments are going to go fully remote because they have the capability to do that, which will be helpful. And then the other departments that can't go fully remote will look at what specifications they need. I met with Dale last week. Some are going to need video, some are going to need audio, and then we'll start scoring like each room, like the basement of here, the mapping, the old mapping upstairs, this room, maybe even that room, which room has which specs and how much square feet, and then like courtrooms may need this space.
Well, that makes sense. They would have about everything they need here already, so.
Yeah, so we'll try to match, and then some folks are gonna get what's left, and it's not gonna be the Taj Mahal.
Yeah, but the idea is to clear that completely out and
Yeah.
let them get after it rather than try and shuffle.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, that's exactly right. They got
More
totally,
cost effective.
well, just like the prosecutor's office, where our intent was to leave that totally as is, but the, one of the walls has all the existing, pipes and utilities in it, so that wall has to be opened up.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think everyone's has the right mindset to get through this. So, the bids come back appropriate, we should be smooth sailing. And then the next board of commissioners that comes in, they won't have anything to do. We'll cut their pay before we leave office because they won't have any hard stuff to do anymore.
Okay.
All done.
I could go for that.
All right. Anything else?
No?
Anything from the audience? No? Good, we're good? Okay. If there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to approve payroll claims and to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Meeting's adjourned.
I would let Michael know how smooth this meeting went.
Yeah, 9:30. Yeah, hopefully you're not watching from your anniversary trip, but if you are, it's 9:30, just saying. All right, everyone, have a good week. Yeah, I don't know what changed. Don't know what changed.
You guys are gonna be going, you just not show up more often, we can get done. Now we know who the holdup is. How you doing, Ron?
Okay.
Hey, Brent, you doing well?
Doing all right?
Yeah, good, fine.
Good, good. You have a short